Welcome back once again to Danny's Media. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after 12 people were shot dead, several being injured during the fuel protests in the Republic of Kenya earlier this week, stakeholders within the Matatu circles have now decided to betray Kenyans by accepting that fuel should be reduced by 10 bob. Surely, they are now busy chanting totem, talking about Singapore in Mombasa when William Ruto is addressing the nation concerning the fuel price that have totally affected the economy of Kenya. Whereby, as we speak right now, the leadership of William Ruto is all about brown envy.
As the transport sector, we are happy with what you've come up with, and we are going to support the government. The government belongs to us. We want to thank the governor of Nairobi, because we know that the county of Nairobi lost a lot of money, and we agreed with him that we have to work together to make sure that everything is going to work. So we want to thank the government. We want to thank the president. We know he has sorted out a lot of our issues, which has been pending for long. The issue of 14-seater within Nairobi, Mombasa, he has sorted it out. We know very well within Mombasa we do not have new vehicles. We have old vehicles. We know what has been happening. Our people has been taking vehicles from Somali and Tanzania, the old vehicles, to bring them here. They are not paying duty. So we welcome that, His Excellency. We are going to work with your government. We, all of us, we are Kenyans. We want peace in this country, and we want to be united so that we can move forward. When the president talks about Singapore, to me, I've seen it's a reality. So let's put politics aside. Politics will come 2027. Let's build our country. Thank you. Okay, sorry. We want to say something. We've called off the strike. We had suspended the strike, but we've called it off. So we will not have strike next week. We are going to work. Thank you.
Yani, after these stakeholders within Matatu sectors, bodaboda sectors receive something small, they have decided to betray Kenya.
Today, I had an extensive consultative meeting between the stakeholders of the transport industry, the Ministry of Energy, the Ministry of Transport, and I have the following to say. Over the past few weeks, many families, businesses, farmers, and transport operators have felt the pain of rising fuel prices. I fully understand the frustration and the burden this has placed on households and on the cost of living across the country. As President, I want to speak to you honestly and directly about why this is happening, what the government is doing, and why we must face this challenge together as one nation. The truth is this: Kenya is facing the effects of global fuel crisis caused by the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. This is not a crisis affecting Kenya alone. Countries across Africa, Europe, Asia, and the Americas are all struggling with rising fuel prices, fuel shortages, and disruptions in supply. Since the conflict involving Iran escalated on the 28th of February 2026, the Strait of Hormuz, one of the world's most important supply routes, through which nearly 1/5 or 20% of global oil passes every day, has experienced major disruption. This has created one of the largest global oil supply shocks in modern history. Within just weeks, global fuel prices rose sharply, with increases and prices increasing by 54% for super petrol, 118% for diesel, and 126.4% for kerosene. These increases directly affect the landed cost of fuel imported into Kenya and ultimately impacted pump prices across the country. The World Bank now projects that global energy prices will rise by 24% in 2026 alone, while the International Energy Agency has warned that global market may remain undersupplied until late 2026 or beyond.
But before brown envelope, they were on the side of Kenyan. But right now, they have decided to join two-term choir instead of trying to fight for the people of Kenyans that are suffering under the government of William Samoei. It is true that the issue of the fuel is all about global crisis. But it is not good. It does not make sense that these stakeholders within the Matatu sectors accepting that fuel should be reduced by 10 bob.
That follow. Now, serious allegations are now emerging over how the recent Matatu operators strike was planned, executed, and abruptly called off. KTN has received information that there were behind-the-scenes coordination involving secret meetings, infiltration within leadership circles, and claims of financial inducements that led to the suspension of the transporters' strike. Haman Kamariki with the details.
Kenyans are still grappling with a high cost of living, largely driven by surging fuel prices, while fresh questions are being raised over whether the public transport crisis is purely economic or also influenced by political and strategic maneuvering. The Matatu sector is now sharply divided into two factions. One group pushing for the engagement with the government through structured negotiations, and the other insisting they were sidelined from critical decision-making procedures. Sources within the transport sector say about 16 leaders met on Sunday evening at a famous hotel in Nairobi. During the meeting, it is alleged that they agreed to declare a nationwide strike aimed at pressuring government to reduce fuel prices, specifically targeting a reduction of over 46 Kenya shillings on diesel. The plan reportedly included halting all Matatu operations, parking vehicles along major highways, and physically blocking key roads as a form of pressure strategy. However, shortly after the meeting concluded, the situation reportedly began to shift.
With all due respect, we respect each one of us here.
It is alleged that soon after the meeting, Kushan Mushiri, the CEO of a Federal of Public Transport Sector and national chairman of the Association of Matatu Transport Owners, received a phone call from the head of Presidential Special Projects and Digital Communications, Dennis Itumbi. The caller is said to have indicated awareness of the strike plans, raising suspicions among some participants that details of the closed-door meeting had been leaked. In that communication, Itumbi allegedly urged Mushiri to suspend the planned strike and allow formal negotiations to take place involving relevant government officers, including Energy Cabinet Secretary Opiyo Ndai and Davis Chirchir. Despite the appeal, Matatu operators reportedly declined their proposal and went on with the strike.
We had agreed not to stop the strike. That was the decision which he had from the word go. So many of us were not happy with the suspension of the strike.
It is also claimed that a certain government-allied transport leaders were paid over 500,000 Kenya shillings each to support the suspension of the strike and help stabilize both political and economic tensions. Additionally, those individuals are alleged to have been facilitated with air tickets to Mombasa, where planned engagement with the president was expected.
I don't understand the envelope thing, because I didn't see the envelope inside the room. There was no envelope. And I have not seen one. Actually, I'm looking for it. If anyone has that envelope, actually, yes, I don't subscribe to the envelope.
Haman Kamari.
I was shocked. I told you on this platform a few days ago that William Samoei Ruto was to bribe all these stakeholders within the Matatu sectors, Bodaboda sectors, to accept that fuel should be reduced by 10 bob, so that they were to call off the nationwide protest, because Ruto knew very well that amid this protest of fuel price, there is no one in the Republic of Kenya within the political parties that could have saved his presidency as he think, not as you think, as per now. Because in 2024, it is only Baba Raila Odinga who saved the presidency of William Samoei, whereby this time round, it was all about a brown envelope that was to save the presidency of William Samoei amid the fuel protests that have totally affected the economy of Kenya, alongside other Kenyans being killed illegally, abducted illegally, arrested illegally. But I'm totally disappointed by some of the stakeholders, like that person that said that with due respect, who embarrassed the CS of Energy Opionlai, is now smiling. Even Jeff Koinange asked him that question, that why are you smiling? Before brown envelope, he was on the side of Kenyans. After receiving brown envelope, they are now busy betraying Kenyans terribly, singing two-term choir in Mombasa when William Samoei have been defeated. When William Samoei is addressing the state of the nation concerning the fuel price that have totally affected the economy of Kenya. It is quite shameful that people are being killed, others being injured, whereby up to now, there are some Kenyans that are still fighting for their life in different hospitals across the country of Kenya. But after this individual received something small, they have decided to betray Kenyans and agree to work closer with the government. And this particular moment where Kenyans are suffering due to the increase of the fuel price, because you can't tell me that reducing the fuel price by 10 bob can change the economy of Kenya. This fuel price have affected our economy terribly. 10 bob. Surely. I was shocked. After Ruto returned back here in Kenya, everything changed. I told you that Ruto made a phone call when he was in Abidjan and tell the CS of Trade Kipchumba Murkomen, Kindiki, Opiondai to make sure that these people are being paid, the Matatu sectors, the bosses. So they have betrayed Kenyans and accepted to work closer with William Samoei and suspend the fuel protest once and for all. Hawatarudi kwa barabara. But what I know is that we are not going to allow them. We are not going to agree with their statement concerning to what Eric Omondi said, because this thing have affected many Kenyans. Thank you so much, and let us meet in the next video. Yani right now, the leadership of William Samoei is all about brown envelope. See you in the next video.